Welcome to our honest GNC Triflex review. We'll cover both GNC Triflex Fast Acting and the standard Triflex to find out if they live up to the hype. Both versions of GNC Triflex are essentially glucosamine and chondroitin supplements, with a few added extras. Unfortunately, most of those extras are so underdosed that they won't actually do much. For the price of $40 a month, we can't really recommend GNC's joint supplement compared to a generic glucosamine and chondroitin sulfate supplement, which will cost you half as much and perform just as well. If you're looking for a good supplement like this, we recommend Joint Buddy, which has better added ingredients that are properly dosed and costs half the price. Or you can spend an extra $10 a month and get a proper premium joint supplement like FlexAgain. Check out our breakdown of the best joint supplements for more info on both. Now, let's talk specifics. The ingredients in GNC Triflex Fast Acting are known to be effective, like curcumin, but the dosages are laughably low. Curcumin requires at least 500 mg to be effective, but the fast-acting version of Triflex only contains 100 mg. This is a common issue in joint supplements, where companies include good ingredients but in doses too small to have any real impact. However, there is one additional ingredient in the fast-acting version that's actually dosed correctly: boswellia serrata extract. Boswellia has been shown to have anti-inflammatory effects and benefit joint health, and GNC does include 100 mg, which is at the lower end of the effective range, but at least it's dosed right. So, while the fast-acting version has a couple of redeeming qualities, there are definitely much better joint supplements out there. You generally get twice as much for this price point. Now, let's move on to the standard GNC Triflex. This version is even worse, especially because it contains hyaluronic acid. The problem with hyaluronic acid is that it only works when inserted directly into the joint. While there are a couple of studies that show much higher doses, about 6 times higher than what's in Triflex, could have minimal effect when taken orally, the evidence just isn't strong enough to back its inclusion here. On top of that, the standard Triflex also contains MSM, but once again, it's drastically underdosed. MSM is a great ingredient for joint health, but studies show you need at least 5 grams for it to be effective. GNC Triflex includes only 900 mg, which is about 6 times less than what's needed for any real benefit. So, in short, if glucosamine and chondroitin work for you, you're better off just buying a generic supplement with those 2 ingredients. It'll be much cheaper and just as effective as GNC Triflex. Now, let's take a look at GNC Triflex customer reviews. Despite the issues we've mentioned, the reviews are actually not too bad. Most customers say that the supplement was effective at treating mild joint discomfort and improving joint function. This is likely because glucosamine and chondroitin do work for a lot of people, and GNC has at least included the correct dosages of those 2 key ingredients. However, we should mention that there are a few negative reviews as well, with some customers reporting nausea. This is a common side effect of glucosamine hydrochloride, which is the version of glucosamine used in GNC Triflex. Especially when you use this much of it, you don't actually need this much glucosamine HCl. This is the dose for glucosamine sulfate. Let's break down the ingredients a bit further. Both versions of GNC Triflex contain 1,500 mg of glucosamine and 1,200 mg of chondroitin sulfate. These are solid doses. Glucosamine has been shown in multiple studies to improve joint discomfort and mobility, and 1,500 mg is the correct dosage for that. Chondroitin is also a good ingredient when paired with glucosamine, as it enhances glucosamine's efficacy. But, by itself, chondroitin doesn't do much. In the standard version, you've got MSM at 900 mg, which, as we mentioned earlier, is far below the required dose of 5 grams for effectiveness. Then there's hyaluronic acid at just 5 mg. The issue here is that hyaluronic acid is broken down by stomach acid when taken orally, so it's only really effective when injected directly into the site. While there are a couple of studies that suggest 30 mg might have some benefit when taken orally, these studies are in the minority, and the amount included in Triflex isn't anywhere near enough to have an impact. As for the fast-acting version, It includes 105 milligrams of turmeric, standardized to 95% curcuminoids, but again, this is far below the effective dose of 500 milligrams. Curcumin is a great ingredient for reducing inflammation, but 100 milligrams isn't going to do much. MSM is also included in the fast-acting version, but at just 50 milligrams. As we mentioned earlier, this is nowhere near the 5 grams needed for MSM to be effective, so it's essentially useless at this dosage. So, what's the conclusion? GNC Triflex will likely work as basic joint support, thanks to the correct doses of glucosamine and chondroitin. But there are much better options out there at the same price point. For example, FlexAgain includes everything Triflex has, but in the correct dosages, along with several other beneficial ingredients, and it's actually slightly cheaper. Alternatively, you could opt for a generic glucosamine and chondroitin supplement, which will give you the same results as Triflex for half the price. In summary, GNC Triflex isn't terrible, but we recommend choosing something else if you want to get the best value for your money and the most effective joint support. We'd recommend either finding the extra $10 and get FlexAgain or save your money and get something like Joint Buddy.